right, hey folks, we're going to do some more artwork this morning. Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure we're up and running. I'm going to do through a quick intro here just to make sure we're good, and then we'll get started. So okay, it looks like our thing is up. Thing meaning video. So let's drop that there. I'm gonna grab my my link here, and I've got just a few social media postings that I need to do, so that's only going to take a hot second here, and then we're going to continue creating artifacts for the Eberron adventure that we are creating. We've got a number of sample artifacts that are used to help create manifest zones in Eberron to create bridges to other planes of existence. And that is what we are depicting on this page today. So clickety, clickety, clickety. Almost there. Stay on target. Bert, and Bert, and Bert. And okay, cool. So that's done. That's done. That's done. That's done. My name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and we are creating content for Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition, mainly Eberron setting right now. If you find today's episode interesting, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. We are here like 10 times per week, 9 times per week right now. Here's all 428 episodes in a playlist. If you want to attack that beast, you're welcome to. This book cover, we created this back around episode 40, and we took a break for a couple hundred episodes and came back and finished the lettering, I think somewhere around episode 212. But we're working on artifacts today, like I said. So this is the Trumpet of Thelanis, the Feywild. It kind of has a flowery, naturey sort of technique motif to it. So big shout out to Domo Domo for helping me find this solution, because I'm really enjoying where this space is at now. So let's see. We're just gonna kind of work the solution. We're doing line art now. I don't think we have much longer that we need to work on this particular object, now that we've got a good narrative going with it. There we go. Just doing some vines and flowery type stuff here, you know, Feywild. I have ideas here. Let me just let things play out a little bit. Let's see if it works out. But yes, the idea of like bark and branches and nature stuff, vines for the curvature of the trumpet makes a lot of sense. So we have the static basic trumpet structure, and we are embellishing it with this nature motif. So like I'll be able to grab an image reference of like a tulip or something, and use that coloration when we actually create come back through and do color. We're doing the line. We did a rough sketch for all the illustrations. Now we're going through and we're doing a more refined line art for them, and then we're going to sweep through and do color for all of them. And there's 13 artifacts in total. The Eye of Mabar is the central artifact in this particular adventure, so it's not on this list. This is all the other artifacts. So there's actually 12 artifacts on this page, while the Eye of Mabar itself is on a separate page. Just trying to throw in some, not necessarily throw in, I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm trying to not dwell on the line art too heavily, make it look good, but I think the paint over is going to do a lot of the work in the in a lot of these pieces. I know I've made that mistake in the past, that solid line art is the key to solid color. And I need to resist the urge. See, what I like to do is a lot of sketching and leave it vague so I can come in and do more details. And then when I do the details, it becomes iffy whether or not I'm going to have thought through the details enough for the color art to connect. So when I start doing color art, there's a chance of misalignment because I didn't spend the time needed to make sure that the line art is right. So that's a flaw that I have in my own art process. When I'm doing commissions for others, which is rare, but when I do, I'm very thorough in the line art. And sometimes I shortcut that process because I sometimes don't respect myself as my own client. Hold on, I've got a thing happening. There we go. Life is coming through very nicely today. So I stream artwork in the morning like this, Monday through Friday for an hour or so, and then on Mondays and typically on Mondays and Thursday nights, like last night, we work on. Currently, we're working on the Bastion Campaigns book. This Thursday, I believe this Thursday, I'm playing Shadow Dark with Wally at Wally DM and Fred with How to RPG and AJ Pickett and I think Insight Check. I'm not sure who else is in the mix, but I think we have at least 3 players, if not 5, and we'll be doing a Shadow Dark 1 or maybe 2 shot depending on where we get in the adventure, I guess. But this will be my first time playing Shadow Dark, so I'm brushing up on the rules. And but otherwise, normally on a Thursday, I would continue. I would be working on book design. This is every month or so. I have this opportunity to play new games with good folk. So I'll post that on my social media and in my Discord server, which is linked down below, for anyone that's interested in checking that either during or after the event. Otherwise, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, including today, I have a lunchtime stream, and we're currently digesting the Unearthed Arcana Artificers. We processed the Cartographer last week, and since there was a revision to the UA in general, we're going back through and making sure the current Artificers are compliant. We're going to be releasing, the 5-color mana spell point variant rules that we have linked in our description down below. We're going to, once this Eberron adventure is done, we're going to go through the process of rebuilding all the color mana books for the 2024 mechanics. And once we finish that process, the Artificer is not a quote-unquote core class, so I don't include it in the quote-unquote core mechanics book that we're updating first. But we're going to instead make a separate spell point Artificer book, taking all the mechanics of the color mana system and applying them to Artificer, as well as updating the subclasses as we're doing today, publishing the updates to the subclasses. But we don't know what the final form of the Artificer is going to be. Excuse me, I have a hiccup. We won't know what the final form of the Artificer is going to be until they publish whatever book it is that they're putting the Artificer in. So in the meantime, in our Martial Powers playtest, we've had a number of people that are interested in the Artificer, so we've been updating the mechanics so that they are part of the playtest roster to make sure we know what the hell we're doing. That's working out really well. We're probably one session away from characters getting 5th level in the Martial Power system, which is exciting because all the Martial Power characters, the fighter, the barbarian, the rogue, the monk, they all operate off of a half-casting scaffold. So level 5 means they gain 2nd rank powers, and they can channel, they can sustain 2 powers simultaneously, or a single 2nd rank power. So there's a massive buff that's going to be happening, not to mention they get their 2nd attacks. So there's a big power spike that we're about to face. Our first big power spike in the game. And I am excited because them being able to sling around more mana every round and have higher rank powers to sling it with is exciting. It makes for more dynamic combat. It allows me to hit them with bigger, badder things. And they should be able to survive survive the blitzkrieg, as it were. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll be probably processing the Artificer today and Friday, possibly Tuesday next week. But once those are done processing, I think we're going to float back around probably to working on the Spell Point Sorcerer again, which will also be a separate supplement to complement the color mana Spell Point variant rules. The base chassis of the Sorcerer is going to be included in the core mechanics. Of course it is. It's a core class. But all of the variant rules, so what we do is we have basically like core tenets, like what's the minimum that we need to do to be able to convert a class into using the color mana system, so it's not heavy lifting to introduce it into your game. And then from there we do deep dives into separate classes. Like if we really took the reins, like if we really let go of the reins, where could this system take our subclasses? And the Spell Point Sorcerer and the Martial Power system are good examples of what that level of power can be. So it's a very long-winded project, but I very much love 5e. So I don't mind taking the time to build out the books, and it'll probably take me the rest of the year into 2025 to do it. But Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons is so fucking cool that I really have a difficult time letting go of it, whether anyone's paying attention or not, honestly. Yeah, I like that. It feels good. And so I want to make sure that we keep this curvature coming around here. But once all the books are officially finished, like rebuilt for 2025, then I can start leaning into my Patreon a little bit more and start building specialists like Sedgwick Sedhedge Mage, or like Boros Swiftblade, or like a Rakdos Rioter. I can take all these different Magic the Gathering cards, and we'll have a robust mechanic for all 13 classes to utilize color mana together, so we can start building out like specific type of character builds based off of Magic the Gathering cards. So that is the long-term dream I believe we are attempting to achieve here. Okay, so we've got these 3 pipes. Or reeds. I guess these are reeds. I don't know. I don't know what the language would be. Let's call them reeds. So I'm going to finish this first phase here. Make sure everything's properly in place. And we're going to do a little bit of additional modification. Just get rid of that. God damn, this is fun. I don't like that. I like the idea of it, but I don't like the execution. What I want to do is like the 3 plungers that you have on a trumpet, but I want to make them out of mushrooms or something. So I want to make sure I have the full frame here built first, and then we can drop the plungers into the anatomy of the trumpet. And since this is an organic creation, it'll make sense. We don't have to worry about fusion and like how does it properly fit into the pipes. I can have those plungers be just like like little mushrooms growing out of it that you press. But I think my style of art shines most in the natural flora organic space. So me moving out of this metal idea, like this metal framework here, into vines is a real natural solution for my own style. So again, I can't say it enough. Thanks a lot, Domo, for having this suggestion, because I was really not sure what kind of a skin I was going to give the trumpet once I got the mechanics done, but perfect timing. He's like, why don't you try, like, his suggestion was antlers, and that mean in bark, and it was the idea of bark that latched on, that really gelled for me, and here we are. I don't know what just popped in my head, but I'm really excited about seeing the next season of Three Body Problem. Not read the books. I am not much of a book reader, and since I stopped commuting to work, I haven't really been much of an audiobook listener either. Most of my time I spend listening to music, or like Let's Play or D&D analysis and stuff like role-playing game industry stuff. I don't really listen or read books much anymore, like novels, casually, and I wonder if that's something that I'll eventually recover. I used to devour books, like 350-page novels in a day. It'd take me about 10 hours to do it, and if I was left to my own devices on a weekend, I would hammer through 2, maybe even 3 books. And I don't do that anymore. There, that feels pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna be back. We'll be back later on today, probably like around 12. I want to say around 12:30, assuming nothing goes sideways on me at my day job today. I should be back on around 12:30 till 1:30 ish. To work on the Spellpoint Artificers. Where's that spec coming from? Huh. Maybe it's there it is. Good. Yeah, I can get rid of that now. Hold on, I'm organizing my shit. Trash there. Baff. We get to that. Good. We are where we need to be. Let's pull this forward here a tick. Newt, newt. My phone says newt, newt. What are you barking at me about? Hold on. Okay, we're good. Breath. Let's curve this out. There we go. I think we fully encapsulated all the the full structure of the trumpet now, and fully skinned it, I believe is the way that we should say that. And now that we are here, we get to let's see. Let's remove that. Yeah, looks pretty good. I think I can afford to thicken this bit back here, so I'm going to broaden the frame a little bit. Help get this third loop in. This. Let's change the angle on this just a smidge. I think the skew. Yeah. That feels good. And okay, now we can work on the plungers. We have enough. I think we have enough. And okay, now we can work like on the space. All right, so let's see. Let's drop the opacity a bit here. I can take this and drop that into the trash. I'm gonna add another layer in. Two. 3, something like that. I'm going to remove this back bit here so it doesn't get in the way. And let's erase in here so we can help distinguish these shapes a little bit better. is how we'll start here. Then we want these things to flow through. Like this. And then here. Here. And here. Let's drop these in the frame. Like this. We can curve these pipes in. Hey, what's up? Foxtrot, my guy. The Carpet of Doom. Foxtrot, my guy. The Carpet of Doom. It's good to see you. Good morning, Fox. Here and yeah, this is gonna turn out a-okay. Just got to get the mass, the tarning together properly. Granny, it's all good, man. Yeah, don't let the Canadian carny trick you. I am no carny. Yeah, don't let the I'm like Kearney, like kerning, like adjusting text. I'm like Kearney, like kerning, like adjusting text. A long history of typesetters. It was only a matter of time before I ended up in books. That's complete bullshit. That's complete bullshit. There is no truth being a kerning. I am a kerning. I don't know where the term came from, but kerning is Kearning. I am a kerning. I don't know where the term came from, but kerning is I am Kilfearney. I am Kilfearney. All right, we're gonna get these plungers done, and then we're gonna move on to the next piece. I think we'll have satisfied the creative urge for this particular artifact, and then we'll move on. And we'll be doing Artificer stuff today at around 12:30 Seattle time, and yeah, it looks good. I want to get rid of that linearity there. Let's make that a little bit more curvaceous. I'll put little mushroom caps on these for the plungers. I hear in my ear something. What's up? Are these going to be black and white? No, they're all going to be color. All of them are color. This whole book will be color. That's one of my burdens that when I do D&D stuff on the DMsGuild, I feel compelled, since it's digital only, I am compelled to produce in color. When I get into Kickstarters, I could debatably just go with black and white for printing purposes, but I don't know if I want to get involved in printing these days. Granted, I don't have to worry about it for another year or so, but I mean, that's not that far away. So I'll eventually have to worry about it. And I suspect I'm just going to stay digital, which means that I'll always be coloring. Although, and maybe I keep threatening in future books that perhaps I'll go like with a monotone, like have it be predominantly line art, but then use color, like a color wash or like a limited color palette to add a little bit more depth to it. But when I'm doing DMsGuild stuff, the assets are always full color. Oh hey, Fox! I hit my 3,000 hours, man. It's gonna. I guess they say it could take up to a month to review. But I'll eventually be active with a marketplace for me to be able to have like stock art underneath the actual video that's playing, so I can. We'll see how that process goes, but apparently it's begun. So I am excited about it, and thanks a lot for being such a stalwart supporter. It's very kind of you to invest time in listening to stuff that I say and help me get to where I'm at. Yeah, I like this. This is turning out nicely. This is looking pretty good. I am 3 shakes of a lamb's tail away from being done with this piece. And we'll move on to the next one. So yeah, right now we're just doing the line art for each artifact just to make sure that we have a consistency amongst them. And then we'll come back through and colorize them together. Same reason, just to make sure that there's consistency. So yeah, we'll be in this space for a couple weeks, no doubt. Meanwhile, I'm knocking down. It looks like I'm knocking down about a page per day of the layouts that we're still doing in this book. I've got 4 pages left of the actual adventure, and then 10 pages of monster page of 2024 monster updates we need to do, and then all of the layouts should officially be done, and I can start working on this in the evening. So I'm expecting, I'm anticipating having all the actual adventure pages. The monsters are in an appendix. So of the actual book, of the actual adventure itself, I'm anticipating that being done by this time next week. And you know, taking into account potential setbacks and stuff. There we go. And you know, taking into account potential setbacks and stuff. There we go. So that is exciting. We are definitely moving forward. I can get rid of all of this grit inside of here. So let's clear out the mess that we don't need. And we can do a little bit of cleanup. So it's the book itself, it looks like it's going to end up at 98 pages. Like these, like 98 of these pages. So like if each of these columns were separate, it would be 294 columns. Fucking, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. And a team can use all of the content in the book, but it's assumed it's formatted so that the DM can choose kind of like how Curse of Strahd is a toolkit to run around in Barovia. This is designed to be a toolkit for DMs to run around in the Carnwood of Carnath. And so it has a bunch of optional adventures. It has you don't necessarily use all the content, but the DM chooses what seems appropriate for the type of team that's running, and it's really built for the DM to be able to enjoy it multiple times. I have a couple friends that are professional DMs, and so like if they have a reason to run around in Eberron, then I wanted to make an adventure like this and the other one that we're going to make after this to be structured so that you can run it a number of different ways with different goals and have different regions that the characters can explore and not necessarily have to go to all of it to be able to run the adventure properly. So it's a little bit of overkill, but that's kind of how I do sometimes. And it's my first adventure, so of course it can't be something trite. It's got to be grandiose. Grandiose. Sorry, wording. Grandiose. That's the Missourian in me, not being able to speak fancy words. But yeah, it's big. By the way, the horn is very cool. You were taking it in a neat direction with the plants motif, kind of like Dark. Yeah, thank you. Again, shout out to Domo Domo for getting me on this path. But yeah, I'm really, thank you for the compliment. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. There, and this should be good. There. So yeah, when we color it, obviously it's gonna, the lighting and the different the difference between foreground and background and the actual piece will make it really easy to distinguish what's going on. Let's merge that down real quick and yeah, this is a cool piece. Just working out a little nitpick here that's bugging my brain. I think this is a little too knotted. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun to color. This is going to be a lot of fun to color. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. Just really just nitpicking here right now. Almost done. There. That feels a little off. There. Wait, nope. There we go. Wait, nope. Foreshortening, it's important. There we go. Man, I am having a lit day, man. I am really just, my heart is on fire. Man, I am having a lit day. I feel just the creation engine is just banging on all cylinders today. I do not know what is going on. But I feel a particular unity with the universe today. And well, hot daggity dig. This turned out to be a pretty good. This turned out to be a really fucking cool piece. All right, that one is done. We're gonna step aside, let that one slide. There we go. Let's toss the trash down into the trash. Let's drop this layer in here. Clunk clunk. What about this one? Okay, well, whatever this is feels like it's next. No, I don't want to work on the dark. I don't want to work on the dark lantern yet. Okay, well, whatever this is feels like it's next. No, I don't want to work on the dark. I don't want to work. There's a difference in. I can feel a difference in line weight here. I don't think that's going to be a problem when the coloring happens. I think that'll help even everything out. Let's go. Crown of Zoriat, flute over here. What's a Sarania? The flute of Sarania, the Azure Sky. Okay, so there's a similarity there between the Feywild and the Azure Sky. Jesus fuck, this is really escalating the quality that I should expect in these pieces. Like This is outshining. This is outshining these scales, and I think it's outclassing the Corellin that we've created. This is a piece, man. It's okay. It's okay. I need to make sure that we're keeping the same bottom line here, which means I'm going to have to push this up a little. Let's balance our objects again here real quick. I'm micromanaging. Hold on. Futsing more like it. I'm micromanaging. Hold on. Let's adjust my seat. There we go. Hey, what's up? It's so far anyway. Yeah, it'll all balance out. It'll balance out. So I mean, I've only done 3 so far, but yeah, that's a particularly fucking cool piece. I gotta. I mean, like this banneret is like really fucking simple in comparison, right? Maybe we should work on the crown next. Work on the crown of madness. All right, let's drop this one down. This is the crown of Zoriat. Whoever is performing the ritual would put this on their head and drive themselves into madness, performing the ritual. Nope, wait, I don't know where that color came from. What the fuck? What time is it? 7:04. Okay, I got 20 minutes left. What is... Oh, I know what's going on. Right. Faded layer. Number 12 equals Crown of Zoriat. There. That's why. I forgot about layers. Okay, so we're just going to squat this. Easiest type of foreshortening there is. Somebody's dog is going mad. Let's highlight that. Let's select, modify, contract. By 4, delete, there. So do the same. Again, we don't need to worry about. I don't need to worry about symmetry because I can just work on one half of the crown, and then symmetrically flip it so that it fills in both halves, and then we can blend them together and start doing imperfections and whatever to distinguish one half from the other. Yeah, eyeballs. Yep, they are, absolutely they are. This is a beholder hat, so it's pretty obvious, right? But it's so fucking great. Yeah, this it's a crown of ice stalks. So as an artifact, it is powerful. Like the Eye of Mabar, while you're holding it, like you've got immunity to necrotic damage, and you don't have to sleep or eat. You don't have to breathe. You basically become, while you're holding it, you basically become an undead, and if you're powerful enough, you're basically a lich. But once you start performing the ritual, it kills you. So if you, but it wants you to perform the ritual. So it compels you while you're attuned to the artifact. It is constantly trying to get you to start the ritual to create a manifest zone. Because the creation of the manifest zone converts the spellcaster into a Yugoloth. So it takes eternity for a new Ultraloth or Arcanoloth to be created in its natural environment. But this artifact not only creates a manifest zone, but puts a new CR13 creature on the board to lead legions of demons and undead out of Mabar into the material world of Eberron. And every one of these planes is the same way. The artifact, its primary goal is to create a permanent bridge connecting its the plane of existence that the artifact is connected to bring that into existence. So it's an artifact. It makes you powerful while you're wielding it, but it also has the curse of it's going to compel you, and you don't necessarily know it's going to. It doesn't know the person that's using it doesn't know it's going to kill them. It just knows that they're going to accumulate power and are compelled to create this manifest zone so that they can tap into those energies. It's just the way that you tap into those energies is by becoming a Yugoloth. And the Yugoloth retains all of your memories of life. So in this instance, the Solzu Trenaris, who's performing the ritual, is military intelligence from the Carnathi military. So if this ritual completes, a Yugoloth is going to have intimate knowledge of everything that this high-ranked military officer knew during the last war, including what's in the archives of Ader Academy, the premier research center for necrotic studies in the world, basically. And so Solzu stole the artifact from its archives, kind of like Indiana Jones style. He ganked he ganked it from their classified section, ran a heist mission off screen to acquire the artifact, as well as picking up a couple interns to do alchemical stuff with materials that they're collecting. And so if this ritual completes, there's going to be either an Arcanoloth or an Ultraloth that has all this, like, knows what's in the archives and has the power to go take it. So huge fucking threat, super fun. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. I am not a huge fan of the planes of Eberron. I am a strict wheel great wheel enthusiast. I love the great wheel. I always have. I utilize the great wheel in my Eberron campaign. My Eberron campaign is its own. Everyone's Eberron's their own little thing, right? But hold on, let me get that in there. All right, so the way that the wheel works in my Eberron is you have Eberron, and then you got the astral that surrounds it, as well as the ethereal that connects to the inner planes. So you got the inner planes here. You've got the astral, which spills out. You've got the big wheel here. Eventually, the cosmology. So for Eberron itself, there's these little gap spaces. Eberron has 13 moons that orbits it, and each orbit, each moon is actually a portal that connects to these subworlds. And like what's an example? Like Fernia. Let's take Fernia for instance. Fernia is like a mix between hell and the plane of fire, but also kind of to an extent like Mount Celestia. So it has like this radiant fire demon paradigm, like where it's a plane of fire, but it has angels and demons that are fighting in it as well. So the moon to Fernia would be actually a portal that opens up that leads to Fernia, and Fernia is pulling both from the fire elemental and and hell as well as Celestia. So it has like, it's basically like this verge of 3 points in cosmology that becomes a battleground between Celestia, the 9 hells, and the plane of fire. They all converge in this space, which is like a transition spot between the outer wheel, the inner planes, and Eberron. You can go to Fernia and end up in the plane of fire, in the 9 hells, or in Celestia. And then from Celestia, you can, or 9 hells, you can obviously branch out into the rest of the outer planes. And from fire, you can migrate over to like earth, and then over to water, and then air. And each one of these planes is an admixture of the inner and outer planes. So that's how I run it. So you can bounce around wild space to get to the moons, to get to the planes of Eberron, and then from Eberron you can dive into the elemental and then the outer wheel. Outside of wild space, you get into the astral sea, which leads you to the outer planes, and you could always step sideways into the astral to end up in the elemental planes. So like there's there's added level of complexity where the world of Eberron is borrowing from the elements and the outer planes to form these demi-planes that are the concepts of Eberron, and from those concepts the dragons created the actual world of Eberron. So like there were like blending paints between elements and philosophies to create these 13 dynamics that then blend together to create Eberron as a world. And you can do that mixing process with any world that you want. It's just Eberron specifically is the only one that I've ever seen that really leans into that idea, and I love that. But with that philosophy, you have to have the elemental planes, and you have to have the great wheel to pull these pieces from to create these demi-planes. And in the Eberron setting itself, it basically just stops with Eberron, and then the next shell, which is the demi-planes. But again, outside of that shell is the great wheel and the elemental planes. And once you go to the elemental planes, if you dive through the elemental planes, it eventually wraps back around to Kyber. And then once you get into the Kyber, you can rise through Kyber back to the surface of Eberron. So it actually has like this torus loop of leave Eberron into wild space, into the astral, into the outer wheel, through the outer wheel, through Tartarus or the Abyss or the 9 hells, into into Kyber, back to the surface of Eberron, and then fly back out into wild space. So it's a loop that you could run. And when I run full 20 level campaigns in Eberron, the team inevitably finds these loops that take them in and out of realities, and then they decide how they want to run the show based on which paths they decide to follow inside the adventure. So super fun. I love that cosmology, but obviously that's not like K canon. But it's what I've, over the past 20 years of fucking around inside Eberron, that's the cosmology solution that I've come up that satisfies everything. And then in that manner, you can integrate Eberron into the greater multiverse and have it interact in Spelljammer and Planescape, and it just becomes a very unique prime material plane that people can visit, right? So anyway, that's the idea. That's the idea. But yeah, with that wrapped layer, with those wrapped layer idea, you can basically create any kind of cosmology that you want and be able to have it fold into the greater multiverse. Like I was just saying. I mean, I'm just, I guess, reiterating. But I like that. I like that element, and it's just a philosophical system, like a way to approach game design in a fantasy world that has other planes of existence. Like Lobo, War on God. Was it Contract on God? Yeah, that was it. I don't know if anyone out there is a Lobo fan. Lobo comics from DC. Lobo's the main man. Totally the main man. Love me some Lobo. Well, I need to look up the symbols of Zoriat because those will probably be what the pupils look like. Like the Eye of Mabar, its pupil is the symbol of Mabar. So we'll probably do this with the eye, with the Crown of Eyes as well. Give them a creepy. Beholder-esque solution. Something like this. I do got a lot of tentacle stuff going on in my stuff, but there's a Cthulhu enthusiast inside of me that never really had a chance to grow. And it kind of manifests itself in opportunities like this. Like between this and the Krillin of Dalcor, and we might have another tentacle theme somewhere upline. But I'd say Zoriat and Dalcor are probably the tentacle factories of the multiverse. Although I gotta say, I've got some tentacles going on in the Crystals of Mabar. I gotta be careful not to make it too viney. I'm pushing out of tentacle space into vine space, and I need to be careful about that. The language there. Tentacles need a little more liquidy, while the roughness of vines, a rough texture helps indicate vines. So I need to smooth these out a little bit more so they're a little bit more inky. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like a whole bunch of the language won't be clear between one artifact to another. It's actually really important. What's up? Hey, what's up, Steve? Good times, my dude. I am almost done for the day. I've got, what is it? Oh shit, it's 7:58. Yeah, it's time for me to bounce the hell out of here. Thanks for showing up, Steve. You always help me with my time. Let's take another hot second here. My computer fan has started making a noise, which probably means it's dirty. I need to take a spray fan to it. Anytime. Guys do have it, my man. All right, we're going to leave this here. We're going to come back. We're going to finish this tomorrow. And then we'll move on to the next piece. I'm going to be back around 12:30 this afternoon. That's about 4.5 hours from now. We're going to be back working on some Artificers 2024 Artificer revisions using the color mana mechanics that we have for the martial power system. And god damn, that's loud. And it's warm. I don't like that at all. Okay, I'm going to have to check in on that. I will see you guys on the other side. Y'all have a great day. Cheers.